Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Joy Newsroom. My name is Sheila Sechi. Top stories this hour: former Finance Minister Ken Ofori Atta declines assistance from Ghana Embassy in U.S. in the absence of his lawyer. We have details in this bulletin as Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayeni assures of fair trial.
In accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution, his right to a fair trial is guaranteed. No one is going to, Ken Ofori Atta is not he's not the person that will come here and we're going to treat him very shabbily.
And school heads who will legally register students for this year's WASSCE to face strict sanctions.
What I can tell you is that if you are a head who conduct yourself in that manner, you could face several sanctions, including losing your position as the head.
These plus other stories in this 60-minute package. Joy News, we are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Thanks for choosing us. Stay with us. Now to a very first story. Embassy of Ghana in Washington, D.C. says former Finance Minister Ken Ofori Atta has declined consular assistance, insisting on the presence of his lawyers before engaging embassy officials. A statement signed by Ghana's ambassador to the United States, Victor Emmanuel Smith, confirmed that Mr. Ofori Atta has been taken into custody by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Here are excerpts of the statement. And it reads, the Embassy of Ghana in Washington, D.C. can confirm that Ghana's former Minister for Finance, Mr. Kenneth Nanaya Ofori Atta, has been taken into custody by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the United States. Upon receiving this information, the embassy undertook the necessary steps to verify the circumstances surrounding the matter. Following confirmation, the embassy formally contacted the relevant detention facility to request access to Mr. Ofori Atta in order to provide consular assistance in line with established diplomatic and international protocols. The embassy was informed by the facility that the detainee declined to engage with consular officials at the time without his lawyers present. The Embassy of Ghana remains in contact with the appropriate United States authorities and will continue to follow the matter closely to ensure that Mr. Ofori Atta's rights are totally respected. And this is signed by Ambassador Victor Emmanuel Smith, which is on the 10th of January 2026. Meanwhile, Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayeni says he has personally assured former U.S. Attorney General John Ashcroft that former Finance Minister Ken Ofori Atta would receive a fair trial if returned to Ghana. He spoke on Newsfile on Saturday.
John Ashcroft, the former Attorney General of the United States of America, all right, called me and said he was the one representing, Ken Ofori Atta in the matter. But his concerns, that the reason he called me was for me to assure him that when Ken is returned to Ghana, all right, he will get a fair trial. And I assured him of the fact that under this government, and in accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution, his right to a fair trial is guaranteed. No one is going to, Ken Ofori Atta is not he's not the person that will come here and we're going to treat him very shabbily and so on and so forth. He will be accorded due process of law. His fair trial rights will be guaranteed and so on. So I talked with John Ashcroft, but at the time, I could not, including the lawyer, the lawyer who granted the interview.
That's right.
So there were three of them, three lawyers who spoke to me via, Zoom on that day when they were expressing concerns. Okay, so at that point in time, it was confidential. I could not mention John Ashcroft as his lawyer. All right, but I was simply saying that when you take the fact that he has these top lawyers coming to court in America to defend him, it is not going to be a day's work to bring him home. That's obvious. Because, you know, he will appear before, in this current matter, he will appear before an immigration judge. All right, on January 20th, he's appearing before an immigration judge. Right. He has a right to appeal that decision to a district court. Right. From the district court, it can go to a circuit court of appeals. Yeah. Then from there to the United States, Supreme Court. That is potentially the legal pathway to, the determination as to whether or not he should be taken from America. Right.
Now, Dr. Dominic Ayene also disclosed that Ken Ofori Atta did not overstay his visa in the United States as widely speculated, but had it formally revoked by the U.S. State Department. So you know that even from day one, I didn't make this public, but I started investigating Ofori Atta, all right? In fact, in his case, I'm doing it with... some foreign investigators that are tracking, all the offshore dealings and so on, all right? And then, of course, we are also doing our own investigations here. They are inconclusive as we speak. I mean, we have not, come to any conclusion. So
this is different from the SML?
It's different, totally different, and potentially mind-blowing, but you know that I will not, give any details at this point in time. So I started working with the Americans in respect of Ofori Atta long before OSP, came up with their announcement. Yeah, I started working with them, and I want Ghanaians to know that he just didn't overstay his visa. The visa was actually revoked. So it's not that Ofori Atta, overstayed. So in July, the American government revoked, the State Department revoked his visa, all right? And they gave him up to November 29th of 2024 to leave the United States, okay? He did not. And then that is how come that they, decided they were going to, now pursue him, and arrest him. Actually, the arrest was supposed to occur on January 4th, and they did not do so, but on Tuesday, January 6th, they, apprehended him, in the Virginia area and took him into custody.
You're saying this is not exactly about immigration?
Yes, it's not exactly about immigration.
His visa his visa is not expired. It expires in February.
It was revoked. The visa was revoked. I am telling you this on authority.
Now let's engage Justice Abdullahi, who is a lawyer and lecturer at UPSA School of Law. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Justice, what is your initial reactions to the issue?
It is, lots of things are not revealing, and I would have thought that more particular giving on foreign basis of the revocation of the visa, the basis for the age, earlier connection with foreign events, and tapping the business of Ofori even before the OS came in. I think these disclosures would be better clarifications, and I think that will help us to understand what is really going on between the ages of his vis-a-vis Ofori Atta, and of course we are already aware of what the OSP is doing, so we need to know the interplay between the two and why the AG commenced its earlier investigation or its investigation into hence movement and other things. I think those are very crucial that we need to attempt to understand. Try to understand from the AG's perspective. Second, I think remember when this was detained, I have called on the government to make swift intervention for a possible release of the government of Ghana, even before Martin went to the immigration court. clearly, from a point of view of the religion, that could not be done. And so we do not have a choice that to wait for the immigration court to make a determination as to whether to release him out of jail or to seek a formal order authorizing side to deport him. Now, the difficulty we encounter here is that because we have a court that will be determining this issue, we no longer have that level of opportunity that we could have taken advantage of before he was put before, arraigned before the court. So my point here is this. Once the case is going before a judge, he's going to determine the matters irrespective of the interest of Ghana in deporting Ofori Atta. He's going to be, a judge is going to be an impartial judge, regardless of the need Ghana have of Ofori Atta. But if we had delayed possibly earlier with ICE, we could possibly have had Ken deported to Ghana before arraigned before court, before he was arraigned before court. But given the special circumstances that we have in today, we ought to have access way before July when his visa was revoked. We shouldn't have waited for this point. But we have, this is where we are now. I think we can only take the best out of the current circumstances. But we should have taken advantage of the circumstances in July, particularly when the 18th of the revocation of his visa happened.
So then, what does this mean to the case? What does this mean both here and abroad?
I have already indicated that now that the case is before a judge, it presents an even field for all sides. We no longer have any special room to get into us. And it protects us weeks, months, or even years. Typically, it could take about 3 years before an issue of this data could be determined or came to be deported or not deported. And so we no longer have that luxury of time that we had in July when his visa was revoked. Now we are in a very difficult situation. But unfortunately for us, we still have the opportunity for the extradition and, of course, the opportunity for deportation. These are the two rooms we are currently dealing with. And the way we go about it will determine proactively whether we can earlier or we have to wait for infinity.
So then, what will an extradition to Ghana help Ofori Atta's cause, and what reliefs are available, would you say?
So, we still have to deal with the matters of deportation. The matters of deportation are not over yet. There's still room for him to be deported. So in view of that, we cannot throw in the towel at this moment. We can still just push harder, and with the hope that you'll be deported. If we put in stronger case, we may get him deported. It could happen earlier than imagined. But if that fails, then the only other option will be the extradition. Now, my point is that in both cases, because we are now before a court, we do not have any special room to operate. And we do not have any better opportunity for him to be sent to Ghana. Well, in fact, in July, and the days afterwards, all the days of the day he was arrested, presented us with very good opportunity to have liaised with the authorities in the United States to have him go to Ghana. So we have made that good window to have had him brought earlier than expected.
Well, thank you very much. And that's Lawyer Justice Abdullah, who is a lawyer and a lecturer at the University of UPSA School of Law. Now, away from that, drivers and passengers plying the Tamale-Walwali-Bolgatanga Highway are voicing fears of attacks after police were withdrawn from the route. The move, reportedly ordered by the Inspector General of Police due to intelligence on potential attacks, has left travelers worried that the already poor road conditions could encourage highway robberies and put lives at risk. Our correspondent, Ilyasu Tanko, reports.
The Tamale-Walwali-Bolgatanga section of the National Road 10 is one of the most strategic transport corridors in northern Ghana. It links the northern, northeast and upper east regions and serves as a vital route for the movement of people, foodstuff, fuel and commercial goods to and from neighboring countries, particularly Burkina Faso and Togo. Despite carrying a high volume of traffic, the highway has suffered years of neglect and has deteriorated to dangerous levels. It is riddled with potholes, contributing to frequent accidents and creating opportunities for robbery attacks. Vehicle breakdowns are also common due to the poor state of the road. As part of measures to secure the highway against robbery and other road offenses, the Ghana Police Service previously increased the number of checkpoints and deploy additional personnel. These measures led to a significant reduction in attacks and accidents along the route. However, for the first time in the history of this busy transport corridor, a violent incident against the police has resulted in a complete closure of nearly 20 checkpoints and the withdrawal of all police personnel along the highway. The police pullout was reportedly ordered by the Inspector General of Police following the fatal attack on a police officer on December 28 by armed men at a checkpoint between Karminga in the northeast region and Pualugu in the upper east region. The police say they also received intelligence pointing to further imminent attacks on officers. Here is the Walewale District Police Commander, ASP Seth Ejekum, confirming the IGP's directive.
We will be there upon the recommendations from the regional commander, by extension IGP. It is from IGP's directives.
Please, is it related to the incident that occurred where an officer was shot dead?
It is. In relation to the Wulugu Karaminga attack.
The security withdrawal has left one of the busiest highways in northern Ghana unguarded, with drivers and passengers expressing fears of a possible surge in robbery attacks and road crashes. At the Bolga station in Tamale, a commercial driver who has plied the route for years described the situation as frightening.
It's very bad. The way the road is, no police on the road. If you are traveling in the night time, it's very risky for we the drivers. Sometimes if it is 6 o'clock, you can't move your car again. So we are pleading on the police to come back and be on the road because it's very risky. Nobody can travel in the night time again. Yesterday like this, they robbed about 3 cars. Why? They should come and help us.
Another driver, Jalil Bashir, says he has been compelled to reduce his operational hours due to the absence of police officers. At the Walewale lorry station, driver Pam Nkrumah appealed for the immediate return of law enforcement officers.
To be honest, if the police are back, we all will be very graceful because at times if they are there, I can move at 10 o'clock or even 11 o'clock. If they know that police are standing within this, moving by 24 kilometers away, maybe they will also like to come back out from that very place again.
Passengers boarding buses and minibuses share similar concerns. Fuseni Muslim, a student traveling from Tamale to Walewale, said the news has made his journey stressful. Road users fear the development could embolden highway robberies, especially along isolated stretches between Walewale and Bolgatanga, where visibility is poor and emergency response times are slow. Many drivers are calling on authorities to urgently review the decision or introduce alternative security measures, including mobile patrols or military support to protect lives and property. Until then, drivers and passengers say they are forced to rely on prayers and cautious travel along a highway they now describe as poor, dangerous, and unguarded. From Walewale, Ilyasu Tanko, reporting for Joy News.
Now, tension is rising in the Kula area as farmers accuse hunters of setting fire to their farms, triggering outrage across several communities. The fires are alleged to have destroyed hundreds of acres of farmland, wiping out cowpea, rice and maize farms and leaving many families counting heavy losses. Eyewitnesses say the blaze started during hunting activities amid long-standing disputes between hunters and farmers over land use. Martina Bugri reports.
The incident has reignited tension between hunters and farmers in the area, with both sides often clashing over fire outbreaks. Last year, similar incidents were recorded in Zabzugu, highlighting the need for urgent action to address the issues of bush burning in the northern region. Stakeholders are urging calm and calling for a collaborative approach to resolve the issue. Assemblyman for the area, Mohammed Mumuni, explained to Joy News what happened.
The past 3 years, every harvesting season, the hunters come. When they come, some of them are coming to burn the inputs and then farming crops and then things and go away. Last three years, when they come, they burnt a cowpea farm. Last 3 weeks, they burned another rice farm. So because of that incident, the committee members called me. When they called me a Wednesday, on the 7th of January, and explained the story to me, I go to the community yesterday and tell them that the incident is not a small incident. So I will try and get some media person when they brought them, so that I will discuss the issue to them, so that they can help us and tell the maybe the hunters that we are not finished the harvesting. We meet some hunters. When we meet them, they try to use their guns and fight. When they fire the guns, they left to the river side. So we hasn't identified any of them. One of our people, the farmers, they also have some local ones. They want to do self-protection. But so if you see the video, that's why I'm protecting them. I tell him not to do that. So that's the incident happened.
He said an official complaint has been made to the Sanergu Municipal Police.
We come to the police station this afternoon. But when we come, we meet a municipal police commander, because yesterday I speak to the municipal police commander, but this morning I speak to the regional police commander again, and then chiefs of the area, and then Pentalna, the sub chief, and the municipal coordinator, and then municipal chief executive. They all are aware about that this incident.
Now, meanwhile, some farmers in the Tolong, Kumbungu and Sagnarigu municipalities in the northern region are counting their losses after a wave of bushfires swept through farms, destroying crops and livelihoods. In the Brimani community, 74-year-old retired agriculturalist Yusuf Abdul Majid watched in despair as flames consumed his entire 12-acre farm. Martina Bugri reports again.
The issue of bushfire is an annual terror each year that destroys thousands of maize, cowpea, rice, among other food staples in the northern region. Experts have said the impact is huge. This year, Mr. Majid has scaled down on his farming due to age, but still lost everything to bushfires.
We lost everything I cannot account for. Because I was doing very big, so many farms, like rice. As I've taken, we were able to make rice, yam, granules, and then millet, and then corn. But this year I decided to make the rice. Yeah, because I'm going, the age is no more something that can make me go far. We didn't know where and how it came about. The fire just came in just at the flash because it was far. We saw the wind, and the fire was spreading very, very far. So we thought it was something that would not come near because we made a belt around the farm.
He said he took a loan to farm hoping to sell and repay the loan and store some of the farm produce for his survival, but has nothing to depend on.
In fact, we took loan. And my family, everybody, we asked everybody, I asked everybody of my family and every friends who are around me just to forget everything and leave it to all night.
District Agric Officer at the Department of Agriculture, Kumbungu, Abdul Karim Yakubu said bushfires is a huge challenge facing agriculture in the region.
It's actually affecting the kind of food security that we are yearning to have for Ghana, because the number of bags that the person would have attained from the field are all lost. And so those people who are waiting for the harvest to come and then they will buy from the markets and be able to feed their families are going to be denied that. And most of the farmer who has also incurred a lot of cost in managing the farm, look at the amount they've used in cultivating an acre. For instance, it was 200 Ghana cedis last year. And now 16 acres, if you multiply the cost of even tillage, is not easy. How more the cost of fertilizer, weedicides, and then the cost of labor. If you burn it completely like that, it can cause a kind of unrest in the society that they are living, and that will not be healthy for us as a country. So bushfires is considered as a national security threat, and I think the government of the day, they must do all that they can to protect our crops and farms.
For now, members of these communities are coming together to help these farmers with food. The road to recovery will be long for farmers like Majid. The fight to rebuild is just beginning. For Joy News, I am Martina Bugre reporting.
Now, away from that, the Ghana Education Service has warned that school heads who illegally register students for this year's West Africa Senior High School certificate exam will face strict sanctions. The GES insists only Form 3 students with verified records are eligible to be registered for the examination, stressing that no exceptions will be allowed. Daniel Fenyi is head of public relations at the Ghana Education Service.
What I can tell you is that if you are a head who conduct yourself in that manner, first, you are abusing the office you hold, and anyone who abuses the office they hold do not deserve to hold that office. And so, yes, you could face several sanctions, including losing your position as the head, of course, because the system cannot track you anymore. You could be dismissed depending on the extent of the offense. You could lose your job. You could be sent to a lower rank, depending on but these are sanctions that the Ghana Education Service is already thinking about. But bottom line is that if you are seen doing that, it means that the system cannot trust you with anything sensitive. So you may not have to hold that position.
And we're joined now by Mr. Alfred Tuayebwa, who is the former Deputy Attorney General. Now, on the back of the case of former Finance Minister Ofori Atta, thanks for joining us, sir. I would like to ask you, first of all, what do you make of events so far in Ofori Atta's case?
Thank you very much. With respect to Mr. Ofori Atta's matter, I think the project being gone through, the state has initiated process for its extradition, and we are also told events have also happened to the youth. So that's what I can comment on it for now.
So this move by ICE, right? This move by ICE, how do you expect it to turn out?
I think they are applying their law, and I don't think they will want to do anything to breach the rights of Mr. Ofori Atta. Ofori Atta also has the right to also engage his lawyers and to put across the case on what he thinks. I should not continue to hold him in detention. So let's see how the law there works.
So is your office then involved in any way to get his respite?
Actually, we do not represent Mr. Ofori Atta. He has lawyers in Ghana, also lawyers in the U.S. And so it's the expectation of everyone that the law will work, and nothing more.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Alfred Tua Yeboah, who is the former Deputy Attorney General. But before you go, sir, Attorney General says Saglemi was poorly investigated. Do you have any note on that?
Yes, we disagree with the Attorney General, and I think the Attorney General did not read the case docket before he came to make that public announcement. I also listened to him yesterday on your show, Samson Show. If the Attorney General had taken his time to read the docket, you'll have realized that there's a report from Ghana Institution of Surveyors evaluating the work done by the contractor, and GIX was engaged on the 3rd of April 2020 to do evaluation and then the percentage of work done. At the end of their work, they came out with a report. A report had indicated that out of the 5,000 houses, only 1,506 had been built. By the way, the 506, only 668 were substantially completed. And even they indicated in the report that the state will need $32 million to complete the 1,506. What's so shocking is that in that report, the surveyors or the evaluators indicated that an amount of $196 million had been paid for only 1,506. And even with that, we will still need 32 million complete the 1,506 instead of 5,000 houses. So if the AG says that there's no report, there's no valuation, there's no proper investigation, as I said, he never read the docket. And as a media house, you can even visit the High Court in Accra where the case was being prosecuted. That report has been filed, it's on docket. There's a witness statement from the Ghana Institute of Surveyors, the institution that did the report. Everything that was supposed to be done in that case was done. And so he coming out to say that it was fully investigated. Simply put, the AG never read the case docket. Maybe he has not even seen the case docket at all. He decided to pedal onto.
All right. So before you go, our very last question, let's come back to the Ken Ofori Atta case. Now, do you think it's a smart move for the minister, the former minister, to deny help from the Ghanaian consulate in the state? Do you think it's a smart move?
I think the last part of the question.
No. I'm asking, do you think it's a smart move for Ken Ofori Atta to deny help from the Ghanaian consulate?
Mr. Ofori Atta has a fundamental right. He thinks that he's been detained. He reserves the right to indicate people or institutions that can visit him or offer him help. If he has chosen not to meet them, that's within his right.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us, and we really appreciate your company this afternoon. And that's Alfred Tua Yeboah, who is the former Deputy Attorney General. Thanks for joining us, sir. Now, moving on, Deputy Central Regional Education Director Harriet Sego wants government to rehabilitate the deteriorating internal roads of the Cape Coast School for the Deaf and Blind, describing the current condition as a serious obstacle to the safe and smooth mobility of students with special needs. She made the appeal while receiving food and academic supplies from Vice President Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman.
Demonstrating government's commitment to inclusive education and social welfare, Ghana's Vice President, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, made a donation to the Cape Coast School for the Deaf and Blind. Presenting the items on behalf of the Vice President, a presidential staffer at the Office of the Vice President, Kakra, explained that the donation is intended to support the nutritional, academic and personal needs of the students.
My mission here is to present the food items on behalf of the Vice President. The food items included rice, mackerel, towels, sanitary pads, etc. This is here just to support the school on their feeding. That is why we know this time it's a little bit difficult for these parents of such students to provide all that the kids need. Hence the idea to support the school in getting this done. They had a special request, and that has to do with the road. Now, it is very true, looking at these disabled people walking through this rough roads is a little bit challenging, and I think that I'll carry the message straight to the Vice President that immediate attention is given to, at least if nothing at all, just the small environment here where the kids move up and down to get the road constructed for them.
While receiving the items, the Deputy Central Regional Education Director, Harriet Aidan Sego, expressed appreciation for the gesture, but called on government to fix the school's internal road network, describing it as not disability-friendly and a challenge to the students.
And we are privileged to have the Vice President of Ghana, Her Excellency Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, visiting us with all these items. We are very grateful to her for coming to support us with these items. This, like I said, will supplement the food or the feeding grant that the government has sent to us already. Is going to help us increase the quantities of their children's food. And I'm sure this semester, by the time the children go home, they'll be fatter than they came. And their parents will be happy. And we as caregivers will also be happy. We need support for our roads. You can see they are not disability friendly at all. So if they could come and grade them and make it asphalt for us, we'll be very grateful. You can see our bus is as old as it is. We have little challenge. The girls' dormitory has issues. The roof, the ceiling is ripping off. We have had somebody come to change the louvers and the nets, and we still have work there. And we wish that other people will come, ask our needs, and then come and support us with the things that we need. We are Ghanaians, and we should all support ourselves so that our country will go better than it is now. So we are opening up to all people who have the resources to come and be kind to us. Come. We are always ready to receive you. Our doors are always open.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Lesal Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Now, construction works have begun on some major roads in the whole West District of the Volta region under the Mahama-led government. The Big Push project, this includes upgrading existing stretches in the southeastern part of the district to bitumen surfacing. Fred Kwame Asari has more in the following report.
Preparatory works are being done on the Sokode Road, stretching through Abutia to Joapon, leading to the national capital, Accra. The road has been demarcated and marked with pegs with sites cleared for subsequent works to commence in earnest. The project entails bitumen surfacing with drains at both sides and culverts at some designated locations along the stretch. Addressing a coronation ceremony in Abuja, the District Chief Executive of Ho West, Prosper Francis Dusse, announced that the roads linking Ho West to North Town would also be given a facelift.
Contractor ke ko ere awe va se kule amedife e ya nyedo ebe doko pone contractor vele awe jo amedife awunu de Japan amero le dede cho asikuma ava dodo Sogakope ayi de North Town ayi de Volevo atofimi ayi de ken wasra chieji ta no be ayi ken maga dodo apakama no ya tofi ko to chieji ko edo again straight away.
The newly coronated Mancrado of Abutia, Togbe Ken Kosi VIII, urged the traditional area to unite towards harnessing development.
Our forebears played their part with bare hands and brave hearts. They cleared forests, defended our land, upheld our customs, and handed over to us a heritage of unity, dignity, and resilience. History will not forgive us if we merely inherit what they built and we fail to improve upon it.
To our youth, I'll say, dream big, work hard, and never lose sight of your way. To our elders, I'll say, your wisdom is our guiding light. To our community, I'll say, let's work together, hand in hand, towards a brighter tomorrow.
The paramount chief of Abutia, Togbe Abutia Kojo Gidi V, entreated churches to embrace and support customary practices in communities where they operate.
Menedurabe the cow the total negere solme how to call to me. Menedurabe solme how was the gomebe. No me yao leave me on my battery. So, Eketo Hemia Atrosilon, Mitrosilon, Eketo Migala Citron.
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Abutia Teti.
Now, in the Volta region's biggest rest stop has been opened in Sogakope, the Royal Shekinah City on the Sogakope-Aflao Road, a long-standing dream of Maxwell Amekpo. Aside bringing relief to travelers on the stretch, will also provide employment to unemployed residents of Sogakope and environs, while boosting the area's tourism potential. There is more in this report.
Along one of Ghana's busiest roads is this new haven, the Royal Shekinah City, a dream born while Maxwell Amekpo traveled on the highways in the United States. A vision to build Volta region's biggest rest stop has finally seen the light of day, bringing smiles to residents in the area while providing job opportunities. Patrons at the grand opening expressed their joy and implored road users to patronize the Royal Shekinah City.
This is an opportunity to open doors for other people, create jobs for people, and people who are traveling from different places. The swimming pool is not the only thing here where we are now. People who are traveling long distance can also stop by, stretch, use the washroom, and also have a meal before they move on.
This is a place of hospitality, and I say this is also a social place because it's a stop where both in-guests and out-guests or travelers would have a service to receive.
This particular rest stop is a very good one that can help a lot of people, especially drivers that are driving a long distance from Lagos to Abidjan. They can use this corridor to stop and rest and continue the journey. This will reduce a lot of accidents on our roads.
For Executive Director Maxwell Amekpo, this is a dream come true, one he would relish for the rest of his life.
This is a highway rest stop where cars passing on this highway should stop over and get some fast food and also use the washrooms. So I have not actualized the dream yet. I started by appealing to the State Transport Corporation to make it mandatory to stop over whenever they are passing from Accra to Aflao, and whenever they are returning from Aflao to Accra. I wrote to the ministry to make it mandatory for them to stop over. In fact, I use the state transport because being a government agency, once they start stopping over, all the other cars will follow suit. So I must say and want to use your medium to spread this news, that it is good that we have a highway rest stop for cars to stop over, spend a few minutes here. And for those who are tired and cannot continue the journey, we have rooms here for them to sleep over and continue their journey the next morning.
Meanwhile, a former national chairman of the Ghana Hotels Association, is asking government to reduce cost of utilities to enhance their businesses. They say recent upward adjustment of tariffs has affected their businesses, causing them more financial strains. Godwin Ahaji believes a reduction of tariffs plus other incentives will augur well for an industry that creates more jobs for Ghanaians. He spoke at the opening of Volta Region's biggest rest stop, that's Royal Shekinah Glory City in Sogakope.
Hotel industry is facing a lot of problems. We could have done better though. I was in South Africa and other parts of the world. Hotels, and for that matter, those people who work and generate revenue, employ, pay less for electricity. In Ghana, we are paying the highest rate of for electricity. Some of us, they impose estimated bills on us running into several millions of cities. So we are appealing to the government to look into this matter so that if there is anything they do about it, they do about it.
Well, you're still live on Joy Newsroom. We'll take a break. When we come back, more news. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, the mayor, Michael Alote, has given traders occupying pavement in the Central Business District until the end of January to vacate or risk eviction. Traders who were removed during last year's decongestion exercise have since returned, worsening congestion and creating safety risk. There is more details reported by Michelle Latte.
Unauthorized street trading by vendors has not only become a nuisance, but also an age-old albatross that city authorities continue to struggle to tackle. When Accra Mayor Michael Alote was sworn into office, one of the priority areas he sought to address was illegal trading on pavements. Despite last year's decongestion exercise, which aimed to dissuade traders from peddling their wares on pavements, the streets are now far more congested than they were during the crackdown. Speaking to the media after the sword-cutting ceremony, the mayor warned that traders who fail to vacate the pavements by the January 30 deadline will face sanction.
And the last thing I want to say is that I'm giving the traders in Accra up to the end of January. Please, they should move back to the normal red line so that we all live in peace. By the end of January, I am going to clear the streets. This time I'm not putting human face in it because I've been talking to people, I've been walking to them for some time now.
The ceremony also marked the start of rehabilitation works at the Makola Government Clinic, one of the 6 key development projects by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. According to the Accra Mayor, the initiative reflects government's commitment to improving healthcare delivery, with plans also announced to expand and renovate the Makola market.
Since now, African renovation could done. Your Excellency John Dramani.
Since this facility was built, it has never been renovated. After my appointment by the President, I made a commitment to renovate it. And today we are here to cut sod for the project. Once this is completed, we will move on to the market. After finishing work at the Salaga market, we will return here to expand the market. Our goal is to relocate all traders operating on the streets into the market.
Market women at Makola welcomed the announcement, expressing optimism about improved healthcare services and better trading conditions.
We thank the mayor for taking the initiative to renovate the clinic. This is exactly what they should be doing. It makes us proud of the choice he made in voting. When the renovation is completed, they must make sure that the clinic has enough medical supplies. He has done so much, and we are truly grateful for his efforts in helping us.
The upgraded Makula Government Clinic is expected to improve healthcare access for residents and traders in the Central Business District. For Joy News, Michelle Lati.
Now, authorities at the Ghana Radio Astronomy Observatory, owned by the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, are worried about the encroachment of the lands. Director of the Ghana Space Science and Technology Institute, Dr. Joseph Bremantando, says the lands have shrunk from the original 163 acres to less than 30 acres. There's more details in this report.
The Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, GAEC, hosts the Ghana Radio Astronomy Observatory, a key scientific facility that supports space research. The observatory, which requires a protected environment free from human interference, has been invaded by encroachers. Director of the Ghana Space Science and Technology Institute, Dr. Joseph Bremantando, spoke about activities of residents around the observatory that interfere with sensitive signals received from space, posing a serious threat to research operations.
Here we study deep space in terms of activities that are happening in our universe. So we measure masers, we measure pulses. What we mean is we have to understand what is happening in our deep space, because what happens in space definitely affects us. When there's a solar flare, it affects our climate here, it affects our GPS positioning system. This system is not only for research, but it's also for training. So what we do here is we train young ones in terms of STEM education, engineering, we do physics training, machine learning, data analysis. So it's a regional center for inspiration for our youth in terms of science. One of the key problems we are having is with encroachment, because when we're talking about using radio astronomy, we are measuring faint signals from deep space. So when you have people living around and also using equipment that emits RF, like radio frequencies, it interferes with the signals that we receive, which affects the science. And beginning, I said this is a regional designated center. We do collaborative research with other laboratories in the world that have similar systems to study the universe. So people living around make it difficult for us to make measurements because you have interferences. Even here, we are not even allowed to use wireless because it interferes with the measurements. So we initially started with 163 acres. Currently, I'll tell you, we have less than 30 acres. All the land has been encroached. The little that we have, we've been able to fence it. But even the ones that we fenced, day by day, we still have people coming in and they will break, we have to build, break, we have to build. And not only that, it's the science that is the interference that we're getting from the science. If this thing continues, it means that we have to abandon the science that we do here, which will be a great blow to us as a country, because we have collaborative partners who helped us to build this facility for other people also to use for their research. When the students come here, last year alone, we had almost 2,000 students visiting. Seeing the edifice alone inspires them to do engineering, to do science. And most of the technologies that we are enjoying now emanated from astronomy. The Wi-Fi that we got, GPS, all these MRI, all those technologies came from radio astronomy. So we plead that policymakers help us to protect this facility.
Director of Communication at GAEC, Nana Boateng, has reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to reclaim all encroached lands and prevent further illegal occupation.
Yes, so I mean, we're working very closely with the security agencies to support us with patrolling and warding off the illegal occupiers of the land. This is government land, and then we cannot allow illegal occupiers to take over the land, because the activities are affecting what we do here at the radio astronomy, the Ghana Radio Astronomy, which is a national asset. You understand? We use it for a lot of things for this country. You know, we monitor the space from Ghana. We know we are close to the equator, and so globally This is a favorite research institution that all global agencies would like to use. And so it's a national asset all Ghanaians have to be proud of. But the activities of these illegal occupiers, especially using gadgets like microwaves and stuff like that, distorts the activities that we do there. And so, yes, we'll stop them, we'll continue to demolish, and we'll also continue to take it up legally in the law courts by suing some of them.
For Joy News, Mavis Kabuko's report read to you.
Well, that's how we wrap up Newsroom. My name is Sheila Sechi. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is The Law with Samson Ladi. Ayenini, stay with us.